If you're curious about at which point the southern gardener panics, it is not when it's in the middle of an Arctic blast. It might be a little bit, but it's when she looks up her last frost date and realizes that it's only 5 weeks till then, and I didn't start my seeds yet. Oops. So what I'm doing today is I went and dug through all my seed buckets and I got the tomatoes and the peppers. I usually spend a little bit more time considering what I'm going to plant. I did not do that because there's only 5 weeks until our last frost date. And I just want to get something started because I can grow all year round. Our season is 283 days long according to the Farmer's Almanac. But honestly, if we wouldn't have these few days of this Arctic blast, our season would be 358 days. So yeah, I'm not going to panic about it. The only problem is around here, tomatoes need to be started early, or in my opinion early, because the heat will just kill them right off come summer. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm getting this set up. I'm usually more organized when it comes to my seed starting. I don't know why this year I wasn't. Today I'm just going to show you what peppers and tomatoes I'm starting. I'll come back and do a separate video on herbs and flowers. But most of what we plant can be direct sowed. And I guess that's why I just didn't worry about it. As you can see, I still have some painting left to do in here. But otherwise, this is all done, put together, ready to go. We sealed up all the gaps so there's no water getting in. Alright. So what I have right here is actually the bottom of a rabbit tray. Let me see if I can find an empty one to show you. Right, here's the empty one. If you raise rabbits, you know what this is. It's just a poop catcher. It slides in the bottom of their cages. But since we currently have no rabbits, I'm using these for our seed starting. You just gotta scrub them, they're fine. And I can fit a lot of these. Last time I counted, it was something like 1,200 plants that I could get started in here with shelving and these trays. We have a few things just hanging out. This is one of the seed starting mixes I'm using this year. It's Burpee Organic. I really don't have a preference on a seed starting mix. I just use whatever. We got these at Tractor Supply. This is the only 2 bags they had, so I grabbed both of them. That was a couple weeks ago because I knew I would need them earlier rather than once the planting stuff finally came in. They're like $8 a bag. Really, like I said, have no preference. I have another brand, I think, that may be still riding around in Aaron's truck waiting for me to take it out. Oops. I have a little trash pile right here, so. I also have a couple of these. They were $5 from the dollar store last year, but I picked them up at on their clearance price. I paid like $1 for these. So I have 5 or 6 of those that I'm going to start some stuff in too, see what happens. If nothing else, I spent $1 on having more trays. But I'll probably use those for herbs and stuff that I want to get started soon. But yeah. Something I am going to say is, I know there's a lot of fear of legionnaires that goes around with potting soil. I feel like if you're just careful and you're not blasting potting soil in your face, you should be fine. But if you feel like you want to be extra safe, wear a mask. It's up to you. I don't I don't sit there and sniff the potting soil, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill these up. What I am going to do is strictly bottom water all of these. That way it doesn't knock my little seeds or my little seedlings out from where they need to be. It is windy outside today, and I think it's 50 something degrees outside, so it's really nice, except for the wind, of course. But it is supposed to get down to 20 degrees tonight. But the good news for us is we did find out that the greenhouse with no extra heating will keep it above freezing, so I felt like it was perfectly safe to go ahead and start these seeds. I'll finish filling that up in a second, but I want to show you what I am starting instead of you just standing here watching me throw dirt in a cup. I'm only growing 2 eggplants this year, Rosa Bianca and Pandora Striped Rose. This one I believe comes from a swap from the packaging. I'm not picky on where my seeds come from. Chief, stop it. Dog's in here chewing on a loofah. I'm not picky about where I get my seeds. I'm just not. We're doing shishito peppers, ancho grande hot peppers. I usually grow a lot more hot peppers, but I think we overwintered the ones we have just fine. I looked at them today. Nothing's really dead. It'll be okay. Blot peppers. This is supposed to be a sweet pepper. I am trying to grow more sweet peppers than hot peppers this year. Trinidad Scorpion. This is the Oda bell pepper. It's swap from Nicotovia Seeds. I didn't even pronounce that right. I've heard of them before. It's an overseas seed company. We're going to try them out. Anaheim chilies. Yellow Jamaican mushroom. I did grow some of these this year, but I'm starting these over just in case we lost those. Chocolate sweet peppers. Those are saved seeds that somebody gave us a chocolate pepper and it was amazing. So I'm hoping that they will come out true to what that was. Mad Hatter sweet peppers. I don't know if I should pronounce this one, but maybe Zupai. It comes from a swap. We'll try it. Apocalypse Scorpion. You can see I do have some Baker Creek. I have some in my gardener in here. I have swap seeds. I have just regular, nowhere special ones. Dollar store. As long as it grows, it's fine. Poblano peppers. Aaron cooks really good with those. So now jalapenos, wax peppers, bell peppers, I'll get those all from the local feed store instead of starting them myself. I mean, we could, but it's pretty cheap for a 6-pack of them at the local feed store. I'm supporting another local business and it's less work for me. Tomatoes. We are doing Gardener's Delight. Ukrainian purple plum tomato. I don't think I've grown this one before. Atomic grape. sweet aroma hybrid. Now, I will tell you, most of my tomatoes, we either eat them fresh or they get made into salsa. I don't really make a whole lot of tomato sauce with our peppers, just because you need so many tomatoes that I don't feel like that's the best use of all the delicious tomatoes. Chocolate cherry, those are some I saved year before last, maybe. I'm not sure on the name on this one. That's in my gardener selection. Yellow stuffers. Tigarella. I do like color in our tomatoes. I don't grow all red ones. Black Beauty. This is just a plain Roma tomato. I grabbed these at Dollar General. Just a beefsteak tomato. I know I said I like color, but sometimes you just have to have a plain red tomato. These are pink Berkeley tie-dye, yellow beefsteak, and mushroom basket. So that's what I'm going to start as far as tomatoes. I am not going to do as many cherry tomatoes as I did last year, because we have 44, I believe, cherry tomatoes planted. And it was just wild at one point that we were just trying to bag them and freeze them, and then we just couldn't do it anymore, so we just pulled all the plants out. We had 44 large tomato varieties, I believe it was. That was fine. We don't grow anything that's super high production. Most of them are heirlooms, so they're not going to grow as many tomatoes as a production variety tomato would grow, but still did well. Still have many jars of salsa because I actually froze those tomatoes, put them in the freezer, and I just made the salsa in December. I had to get them out of the freezer before this year started. The only other thing I'm going to start is nasturtiums, because if I don't start them now, it's going to get way too hot for them. Lettuce is going to go in the green stalk, and almost everything else will be direct sowed. So I am going to get back to doing this. The dog is going to get back to chewing on stuff, and I'll come back and show you everything planted. So very quickly, I want to show you how I'm doing this. These two are planted already. I already got these two planted with the eggplants. But what I am doing is I'm putting at least 2 seeds per section. And then you just lightly tamp them down very gently, because you don't want to bury your seeds too deeply, especially when they're tiny seeds. So we're just going to gently cover them. And what's going to happen is once they come up, I can go ahead and separate them when they're a little larger, because your tomatoes you will take and you will plant deeper into the dirt, because the whole stem of a tomato can form roots. I see a lot of people worried about, oh, what's this white stuff growing on my tomato? It's just roots. It's air roots, especially if you live in a humid area. So I'm going to continue doing that all through here, and then I'll come back in a minute. The last thing I need to put into these little pots is the nasturtium. I am a bag gardener right now. I started everything late, but a handy little tip for you is if you soak these for 24 hours before planting, that'll help them germinate faster. The other thing is the seeds have a very hard coating on them. So before you plant them, go ahead and scratch them on something. A rock, a piece of cement. I'm just going to see. There you go. I'm just going to scratch them on here. And I'll do that to all of them. And it just scratches the coating off. And it'll help with germination rates. While I'm aware that it's supposed to get down to 20 degrees tonight, I still felt like I was in some kind of weird race with the Louisiana heat that I know is coming. But I did get all the tomatoes, peppers, eggplants planted. I'm probably going to come back on Monday and start herbs and a few other things. I'm not going to do that this weekend just because we probably have a few projects we need to work on. I know we need to clean some cages and whatnot. And me and Aaron have both been staring at the garden because it is looking like we can probably get away with starting beans. We like to push the limits. with what we can sow in the ground and how early we can sow it. So we'll take a look at the forecast for the next couple weeks and see what it looks like. And you never know, you might see a video of us over the weekend putting beans in the ground. Let me show you the seeds. Here are all the tomatoes and the peppers. Tomatoes have 2 to 3 seeds per pod because I'll go ahead and split those. Peppers, some have 1, some have 2. It depends how many they had. Eggplants have 2. I'll just gently separate whatever pops up if I need to. There's my little basket that I brought outside. I'm going to keep all the ones I started in this basket. That way when I inevitably lose the tags before planting them, I can go back and see, hey, where'd I plant? Because I'm not the most organized gardener, but it's okay. We're not all perfect. And out here you can see the garden looking sad, waiting for something. Alright guys, I hope you are staying warm. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe, share. See you soon.